Bobby Aldridge, what do you know about mobility? You've heard the term mobility. Uh, does it mean flexibility? Does it mean strength? It actually means a bit of all of that. Bobby Aldridge is a mobility professional. This is what he trains people on. He works with athletes, with non-athletes, just getting more mobility in your life. He does work with a lot of golfers to increase swing speed. He works with other people who, have bad backs, but just what exactly drives it? What's the key to it? He has something. He has particular some mats, blocks, and bands that he uses that actually he actually does exercises during this. It's incredible. I hope you're watching it. It does windmills and understanding how mobility and fitness works, the correlation between mobility and performance. He has this BAM, this Bobby Aldridge, mobility method, his approach, but it's a fascinating discussion just on mobility and how important it is, how you can incorporate just some simple exercises into normal routines of your normal day. He does a lot of corporate work and talks to professionals about what they can do to help with that. Some simple wall windmills, for example, and that could just help with so much mobility. He has examples. He's replaced both hips. He was in a car accident, broke his back when he was younger, and now he's 53 and is incredibly mobile and agile, and just a great conversation on mobility. I love talking about improvement, health improvement, and Bobby is a professional. Thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz. People ask me, how did I lose 130 pounds? The quick answer is always discipline. I started my business, wasn't paying attention to my health, was eating too much, drinking too much sweets. My daughter was born. Next thing I know, I'm pre-diabetic, I have hypertension. I knew something had to change. Discipline. I, like many of you, have faced many challenges in your career, in your family, in your life, in your faith. How did you attack them? How did you approach them? How did you solve them, hopefully? It all had to have some degree of discipline. I'm also asked, how did you found and start a tech business? And it lasted over 25 years. Discipline. I was committed to it, enjoyed technology, didn't enjoy some aspects of it, but knew it was necessary. Discipline. Our podcast mission, how do we use discipline to better ourselves and society? Join me, please, as I talk to interesting people and discuss how they use discipline in their family and their passion and their careers and how it helped them. Our podcast vision, growth through learning from others. Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations. It'll be light and serious. Join us, please. Thank you for consideration. Right, I'm so excited to talk to you, Bobby Aldridge. Thank you so much for your time. What is mobility and why is it so important for us athletes and non-athletes?
Well, it's just that the body. I mean, I started this 30 years ago, got a degree from the University of San Francisco in kinesiology, and then came out and started getting a bunch of different certifications. And mobility is the key to improving your performance and reducing pain. And mobility isn't flexibility. Flexibility isn't mobility. Flexibility is the length of the muscle. So you don't want just length in the muscle. You need to have strength around that muscle. So strength equals mobility, when a lot of people just try to stretch and then say, God, my hamstrings are still tight. So like I said, 30 years of being in this business, if I help your mobility and improve that, your performance is going to get better at whatever it is you want to do, whether you're a grandma who just wants to walk better or you're a pro athlete trying to find that last 5-10% better. And most of the things that I teach, I could go into any pro locker room and I'd say no one in the locker room would know 5 of the moves I'll show them. And it's not that I just am fortunate to run into the right people along the way that taught me some stuff that a lot of these guys don't know what they don't know. So anyway, that's what I like going on these podcasts for, is to talk about it, explain it to the world, that this is easy to do. You can do it at home. You don't need a lot of, equipment. You just need basically yourself and some movements. And it's like brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth twice a week. So we have to treat our bodies the same way. We have to mix movement into our lifestyle. So as we move throughout the day, we're going to do one exercise that helps that. And that's what I'm good at with corporate wellness. I go in there and I'm not trying to make people fitness people. I'm just helping them brush their teeth, which is brushing their body, your shoulders, your neck. Your one trick I can give all you guys today is close your mouth and breathe through your nose. What's that going to do? You're going to use your diaphragm. Most people feel tight in their neck and chest, that area right there, because when you breathe through your mouth, you're using your chest and neck. So you get really stiff up here. If you would just close your mouth, breathe through your nose, you also can't snore when you breathe through your nose. If you only breathe through your nose, you can't snore. That sort of stuff shuts it down. And using that diaphragm is going to make you feel looser. So the more often during the day you can just close your mouth and breathe, it's kind of like meditation. It just helps you feel better, and you'll feel a little bit looser at the end of the day. But you have to be conscious of it, because like when I talk, I'll start to breathe through my mouth. I actually have to think about, oh yeah, close my mouth. Wait a minute. It's not natural. So, and then go there. And that little bit of, that's what I teach my golf pros when they're walking in the fairway. Close your mouth, breathe through your nose, slow it down, because we get fast when we get nervous. So it's the same thing in work. You got a big business call coming up. Before you get on there, close your mouth and do 12 breaths through your nose. Big breaths in and out, and it just will calm you down. And you'll feel like more focused and more alert and more alive. So sorry to jump off on a tangent for mobility.
No, that's what we're going to talk about, because I've heard you talk about it, and so it's not flexibility, but it rides along with flexibility, correct? Well, tell me the relationship with mobility
100%.
and flexibility.
So if your joint moves, like if I can touch my toes, right, that's the length of the hamstring or the hinge of my hips. I can take somebody who is like 6 inches off the ground with their hands trying to reach their toes. And if I put you on your back and I have you lift your leg up and exhale fully, so fully exhale as you're lifting your leg, do that until you run out of air, then put the right leg down, then lift the left leg, and exhale out as you're pulling up that left leg. Then put it back down and lift the right leg and exhale again. If you do that back and forth 6 to 10 times and then stand up and try to touch your toes, you'll drop down 2 to 6 inches. And you'll be like, what the heck happened? It's just that you got your hips to hinge properly, which gives you better range of motion. So all of a sudden you say, wow, I can touch my toes. So it's not important that you can touch your toes. It matters that you hinge from your hips. Do your people see me, or do they just hear?
Oh yeah, it's video. Yep.
Oh, okay. So I mean, literally, so that to show them, so it makes sense to them, they can do this test themselves. So you go, hey, this is where I am trying to touch my toes. You lay on your back, lift the leg up as high as you can as I'm exhaling out. So I run out of air, take the leg down, big breath in, exhale. Keep going until you run out of air. Go back down. Lift the other one. So do this 10 times, and then when you get up, no matter where you are, you'll go lower. Okay, so you'll hinge from your hips, and that's a huge thing for people just to walk. Right, as you get older, you don't gait with your heel toe. People get older, they start dragging. Right, and you see this all the time. It's because they don't have the range of motion, which is the mobility in their hips, shoulders, back, T-spine, that sort of stuff. But this stuff isn't complicated. That's the reason I like to go on these shows and explain a wall windmill. Touching your body to the wall, right? Everything, head, hands, everything. Do a set of 10, then put your feet wider. That's why I have that mat right there. So it's 1 box, your feet are apart, then 2 boxes, your feet are apart, then 3 boxes, your feet are apart. But when you do a windmill, are you a little bit rotated this way? Then you're going to notice, God, it's kind of hard to keep my right arm on the wall when you do this. So when you do the windmill, it looks like this. Pinch your shoulder blades together and just glide the wall back and forth. Okay? Then you go another box wider. So for my people that have been doing this a while, I'll have them do 1 box, 3 boxes, and then 5 boxes. And I have them do 30 reps of this. 15 on each side, back and forth, just like this. And you're going to notice, wow, this is kind of hard to keep my hands up here. Many men have trouble with the rotation in their shoulder because we're on computers, everything's in front of us, we're a little rounded forward. So when you do the windmill on the wall, it's hard to keep their hands up here. It's hard to keep them up at shoulder height. It's hard to pinch your shoulder blades. So to do 30 of these for many people is just burning the back of the shoulders like, oh my God, what is this? So again, when you get more mobile, right? So when my joint's in the right position, it's effortless power. And I got a funny story for you. My son, who's now 16, when he was 12, we had a baseball practice at our facility. We have a baseball facility. And they finished practice and said, hey, Papa, can we have a bench press contest with the bar, the 12-year-olds? And I said, sure. So they hopped on. They did 18. Then the high school kids jumped in. They did 38. Then the college kids jumped in. They did 78. And then they said, Bob, what can you do? And I'm like, oh, man, I don't bench 315 anymore. I bench about 250. And when I was benching 315, I could do 104. And I remember how much my shoulders burned in the front. I remember trying to finish that 104th one. It was like, oh my God, my shoulders. So I'm thinking 78 is going to be tough. I'm not as strong. So I got on there and get going. 75, 100, 150, 200. I doubled what I did when I was 25. I'm now 53. So, oh my God, eye-opening. I'm more mobile. I'm in a better position. My shoulders, my neck, everything's lined up. So I didn't even feel my shoulders. I felt my triceps, which is what you should feel in that position, right? So that was eye-opening to me to say, wow, this program's really working. I'm actually stronger than I thought I was because I'm more functional. And so that's where that mobility comes in to help performance. I was performing better because I had better mobility and better balance of where my muscles are. I'm more balanced. I'm not off balance, like right shoulder forward, left hip back. Everything's a little bit cockeyed, which makes you do more work, right? So the more efficient my body is with mobility, the less effort I have to put into it. Walking's easier, lifting's easier, arms overhead are easier, all those sort of things. And you don't have to be a pro athlete to do this. This is just a handle like going to play with your grandkids outside and run around and feel great, So, yeah.
And as far as mobility and performance, I mean, that story kind of, does a good job of that, but you're talking about increasing swing speed on a golf. Now, mine's at 95, Bobby. Generally speaking, when I don't push too hard and I try to control, it's at 95. But you're talking about, I think you said your average is like 130 of the people you train.
Yeah. Most of the guys at high level players are getting to the 130s, all of them. Like I had a kid that was 114 for a long time. He jumped to 128. That's a big gain, 14 when they're playing at the high level. So
yeah,
you saw it happen with Bryson DeChambeau. My brother was a national long driver 30 years ago. So he was one of the first. I have one of his drivers right here, a 55-inch driver. So now you're only allowed to use a 48. I've got two 55-inch drivers right here. And I've got rebar that he used to swing. So these golf guys would think we were nuts back in the day, right? And I'm like, dude, your average player someday will be hitting at 300, no problem. Because we're all, my brother's hitting at 400 and he doesn't even have a good golf swing. He's just muscling it out there, right? I said, you get a good golf swing on a good body, they're going to go 400 to 500 yards. And they thought we were crazy back then. But you can see what Berkshire Hathaway and these different guys are doing now. They're just launching the ball, right? Because they're working on their bodies for speed. And you can get that with time. Check this out. This is the rebar that my brother used to swing. I'll show you a couple of the drivers. So this is the driver. Look how tall it is.
Jeez.
I'm 6'2", so you can see how tall this is, right? It's almost to my chin. Okay, so that's his driver.
Chin, yeah.
Here's the rebar. So you see how thick this is? This is rebar. Look how tall this is.
Wow.
Taller than me. Okay. Now to hold this like this, your average guy can't hold this. This is going to feel like it's breaking your arms. My brother used to hold this in slow motion and do drills like this, swinging through and holding it. Okay, you need tremendous strength. He used to swing this about 100 miles an hour, just literally practicing his swing to get stronger. And then he would do no club head speed drills with just a grip to work on it. So, so I have some tricks with helping your mobility, right? That's my tools, the mat blocks and bands that get you moving better. And then we work on swing speed. So I use a stick and I have a thing called the stack. Do you guys know what that is? Have you heard
No.
about that? Oh, it's an awesome device. I definitely recommend that. I'm not even sponsored by them, but I say, hey, if you want to get better swing speed, that's your thing. You do my stuff on Monday, you do theirs on Tuesday. Mine on Wednesday, theirs on Thursday, mine on Friday, theirs on Saturday. I'm actually doing 100 days with 4 people. One of them's my pro. One of them's a 50-year-old couch potato who's swinging 116 miles an hour and wants to long drive. So he's going to try to increase his swing speed. My daughter, who's 18, who swings about 107 to 109 right now.
Wow.
And then I got a 60-year-old guy who's a top 10 NCGA player. We're going to have a contest with the stack and my drills. Just like I said, Monday on my stuff, Tuesday their stuff, the stack, Wednesday, and we're going to do this for 100 straight days, and we're going to chart it. And we're going to see who's going to win. The pro, the girl, the average, who's going to win this. And I'll show you what the stack looks like so you guys can see this. It's called the stack. So what it is it has weight right here on the edge. It says the stack. This is 100 grams, 75 grams, 20 grams, and you just swing this, and then you have a, one of those swing speed on the ground that tells you how fast you just swung, and that tells you, okay, 96 miles an hour. You put that in the app, and then it'll tell you to change the weight. So put 100 grams on. You do your 6 swings, you put in the number each time, and the algorithm will start changing. Do you need more strength? Do you need more speed? Do you need more strength? Do you need more speed? So it's guaranteed swing speed because it's measured. And it's the reason I like this, it's similar to what I teach, is I want you to be, are you 40 inches apart with your feet? Then next week you're 42 inches, so your mobility is getting better. Things that are measured, we can improve. Most people, when they stretch, they don't understand where they are in space. So they said, I'm stretching, I'm doing mobility. They have no idea where they are in space. It's same as this. This is a numbered event, which is going to guarantee you getting great results. So if you pair that with what I teach, your swing speed's going to go up, not a question. 100% guaranteed. 100% guaranteed for everyone out there because you're working your body. And as your body moves better and you work on your swing speed with the stick telling you, hey, your miles per hour were 96, now they're 97. And you're going to see it. That's what's great. You swing and you go, oh, I didn't beat my record. I'm going to try again. A little faster. Oh, I just beat it. It says on the app, new record when you type in your number. So if you've never done 101, all of a sudden you put in 101, it says new record. It's exciting. It's fun. So that's one of my favorites to share with people.
You mentioned while you were talking mats, blocks, and bands. Please expand on that.
So I have a mat that has boxes and numbers on it. And if you go to bam-metrics.com, bam-metrics.com, you can see the tools right there. But the mat, you basically learn how to move because it has numbers. So if I'm going to teach you to do a spread feet wide at 44, and I want you to start because you're a beginner. These are my blocks. Okay, so I have two of these, I'll show you reasons why. But say you're a total beginner. You can stack the blocks. You got 44 inches. I'm here, and I'm going to work on some rotation. Make sense? And then as I get better, I'm going to put this lower. So I'm getting lower, and I'm getting wider. So you can see that my inner thighs are opening up, and I'm able to do these exercises based on a metric. So if this is on a 12-inch side, and this is on a 10-inch side, I'm at 22 inches, right? So I know exactly where I am in space. As you get better, we go lower. So 12 inches would be right here. And all of a sudden, we're here. But my hand is in the middle because I'm at 46. So that means the mat, I'm at 23 right here. So when people practice what I give them, they do it perfectly. It's like me standing there telling you, do 23 with your hand and 46 with your feet. You guys can all replicate this on your own. Most
Hmm.
of the time, you don't have a mat, you kind of guess, right? And you say, yeah, I'm doing your exercise, but you're not quite doing it right. So we get asymmetries. We get issues with back pain. We get issues with shoulder pain. When you use my stuff, it's precise. So if I tell you to lay on the blocks, this should be done. I do this every night before bed. You take these blocks, they're 6 inches by 10 inches by 12. So if you're a newbie, you might start here, okay? I lay on them on the 12 this way, and I put my face down, put my arms up. Can you see me?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
See my feet? Most men will
Yeah.
be like this. They can't get their feet to the ground. There's no rotation in their femurs. So I have exercises to help with that using the blocks. But by laying on these blocks this way, I'm opening up my chest and shoulders. And if you're a golfer, how important is it for you to get your arm up here, right? So if you're a little bit this way, because you don't have that range of motion, what are you going to do? You're going to come over the top. Now, if you're a good golfer, but you come over the top, what are you going to do? You're going to compensate to get your arm to where it needs to be to deliver the club. So my best athletes have a lot of pain because they're the best compensators. Does that make sense? They can get around their body not moving quite so well. But they'll say, God, my back hurts right here. So if I can get rid of those asymmetries, all of a sudden their arm starts getting in the spot it needs to be effortlessly, and they have no pain. That's the easiest way I can explain it. And then for the bands that we're talking about, if you take a band, mini band, I have 3 different days of routines I do with people. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 different routines. On Thursday, you'll do the Monday routine. On Friday, you'll do the Tuesday routine. And on Saturday, you'll do the Wednesday routine. Sunday, I give you off. But for example, if I was going to teach you the mini band walk where you do this, how wide are your feet when you do that? And what band should I use? So if I'm going to teach you starting out with 1 block, this is 1 box at a time. Next week, you can try 2 boxes. So you see how it's metrically based? 3rd week, 3 boxes. So now the person can gauge, should I use the light band or the heavier band? You actually can figure it out yourself. If you can get to 3 boxes and go back and forth 4 times, next week, go to the medium band, start over at 1, and do it again and see, can you handle that? But now you guys become experts because it's like bench pressing 5 sets of 5 at 100 pounds. It's precise, right? Instead of saying, I have people doing this exercise all the time and they just do it wrong. Like they bring their feet together, right? So this leg does the work, this leg does nothing. This leg does the work, this leg does nothing. Does that make sense? Mine right here, and I have a funny story. I had 17 trainers I was working with, 20 trainers. 17 of them wouldn't come because they thought what I was teaching was too simple. They said, oh, that's for like pansies, right? But the other 3 trainers kept coming. And then on the 4th week I was there, the boss says, I want everybody in there. So I said, great, this is going to be funny because these are all big, buff trainers who are kind of cocky. So I said, all right, here's what we're doing today, guys. Medicine ball push-ups, bands. I started showing them some of the hard stuff. And I set 4 mats up going across the thing. And I said, black band, 3 boxes. They had never done it like this before. So going across the floor like this, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I'm on fire, right? Because they couldn't cheat, right? You can't cheat when you do that. And I did that on purpose. So a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. That's what I always explain to people. Fortunately, I've been around the right people for many, many years, 30 years in the business, learning from the pro trainers, all the guys with the NFL, NBA, baseball, all of it. Don Chu just retired at 83 years old, who was the head of the NSCA, helped all the NBA guys and all that. He was one of my guys that bounce ideas off all the time. So Yeah, so that's the bands.
Incredible. What happens if they already have pain and they're trying to get away from that? How do you adjust at that point, Bobby?
So pain's just like a red light. It's just saying, hey, alert, alert. Sometimes it's a yellow light, but it's just alerting you. And what I don't like is you guys, like, you'll ice, you'll do Motrin, you'll do, cortisone
Mm,
shot. Those are all things to cover up and mask the pain. Pain's a good thing because it gives you information. So you try and exercise and you see how you feel and you go, that caused more pain. Okay, so why did it cause more pain, right? So for example, I'll give you one real simple. I said 3 years ago, Will Zalatoris, or 2 years ago, Will Zalatoris is going to have back surgery. I said, if they don't fix him, his position, you know who he is on the tour? Will
of
Zalatoris.
course. Thin.
Yep. And very
Yeah.
mobile, moves well,
Very
but he
mobile.
had an
Very mobile.
arch in his back and he was complaining about back pain. I said, he needs to
Mm,
neutralize his pelvis. And long story short, this went on and on and on. He just had back surgery last year. Okay, 2 bulging discs, and he's really struggling right now to get better at where he was because he had surgery. And I would say it was unnecessary. Okay, so
hmm.
I watched the PGA chiropractor work with him last year when he got hurt. Do you remember when he was on the ground? They were doing some stretches and
Yeah.
doing some stuff with him.
Oh,
They were twisting him, and then they picked him up and twisted him, trying to get him to crack his back.
right.
And Will went, oh, that was the end of it. And what they should have done is neutralized his pelvis, not rotated him. You never
Hmm.
rotate on a body that has a bulging disc. And you can guess by how he's reacting that he had a bulging disc. So the chiropractor should not have rotated him. He should have neutralized him, which would have taken his pain away or diminished it. It would have made it better in a way of where he was. But like I said, people don't know what they don't know, and they do what they think works. And this goes on at the highest level, So for him to have surgery at that age, 24, I think he was, when he had surgery, he's 25 now, is just really rough because you're on an uphill battle now that you've had surgery. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like you have surgery when it's necessary, and it's the last resort. You first do all the mobility exercises. You work all the soft tissue. You strengthen the joints. You get it to start moving the way it was made to move. And like I said, all these exercises that I teach you guys, I've got about 12 to 16 that are super simple. You do them at home, it starts improving your mobility. You will notice, wow, I'm swinging faster. Well, yeah, because you move better. It's like if I could take your 50-year-old body and put it in a 30-year-old body, how would you feel? You'd say,
Hmm.
I feel better, right? But you have to work on that. Everybody's chasing the new driver, the new technology, the new what's the quick fix, what's the da 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 da. Everybody's chasing that. And the first thing I ask at all my seminars when I go do my golf seminars, how many of you here have bought a new driver in the last 3 years? It's almost
Hmm.
100% Arma.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're chasing that silver shiny object. And you got to change your body. Because if I hand your driver to Kepka or anyone else on tour, they're going to pump it out there 300 yards, right? Unless it's just too soft, a bendy, whippy driver. But for the most part, it's not. It's their swing and body is stronger, so they're going to crack the whip better.
You also mentioned about a previous podcast. I heard you talk about Colin Morikawa, who's also had a lot of back issues.
Yep, yep. He's one of the guys that I've been trying to help for quite a bit of time. I know his caddy, JJ Jacobat. He used to play in our skins game here at Stone Tree, and those guys have their team, and their team is tight knit.
Mm.
And a lot of times, those guys are worried about losing their job if I come help. And I said, hey, I don't want his job. I don't want to be his trainer. I just want to help. And Colin's one of the guys that needs to get his pelvis more neutral and get
Hmm.
his whatever's causing his back pain, which I haven't tested him, so I can't say. But most of the stuff for most of the tour players is pretty simple. And I've sat in the PGA therapy van many, many times, and most of the guys come in. They're always grabbing their PSIS joint. That's the joint in the back of the back, just below your hips, right there on the right and left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they complain about pain in that spot all the time. And at that high a level with the time that they have, they should not have pain. Golf, back pain is not a part of golf. Back pain is a part of moving incorrectly and compensating with all the dysfunctions that you have. You take those dysfunctions and compensations away, then the pain dissipates.
Hmm.
And it sometimes takes time. You'll never be perfectly balanced because you're a right-handed golfer. So you're going to swing right-handed 70 times, right? Everything's right-handed, right-handed, right-handed. So what do I do to fix that with you guys and increase your swing speed? I just get you swinging left-handed when you're off. So if I get you swinging 30, 40, 50 times left-handed, you're rotating the other way, which is sort of evening out all the other swings you're taking going. So I tell people in their round of golf, if you don't have time off the course, then in between, when you go to the tee box, just swing 10 times left-handed while you're standing there. Just swing 10 times, right? So
Really?
at the end of the day, you have 140 left-handed swings, right? Because you have 14 tee shots. Make sense? So that
Typically,
way,
yeah.
you just worked it the other way. So you're kind of untwining yourself.
Sometimes you see baseball players on deck doing that too. They kind of swing the opposite direction.
Yeah, because it makes your other swing more natural and faster immediately. Like at any seminar I go to, I'll get anybody to swing 3 to 9 miles per hour instantaneously. I can teach you tricks that 3 to 9 miles an hour, no matter how old you are. I did it with one guy that could barely walk, and his wife said, "You're going to hurt him. He can't move. He's got bad shoulders, bad back, bad." And I said, "No, let me show him this mobility exercise." So I show him, and I was on the tee box, so I was just helping people as they were coming up for the tee box and hitting their shots and taking off. So he gets up to hit his ball after I worked with him, and he swings and he totally misses the ball, right? And he goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "That's the loosest I felt in years." So, yeah.
Is there anybody that mobility wouldn't work for?
Well, what mobility is strength and flexibility. So it's mobility works for all, and my program works for all. Most of the time, you can't do that. You can't say that program works. My program works for everyone. Why? It took me 2 years to figure out which exercises and why I'm going to pick them. Right? So now I'm getting you to brush your teeth in the front, the back, the sides. I'm getting you to get everything in there. That's what I do with your body. I'm touching all the joints. I'm mobilizing the joints. I'm soft tissuing the joints, and I'm strengthening the joints. And you have to do it that way. You have to mobilize, soft tissue, and then strengthen. If you strengthen first, so if you say, "Hey, I want to increase my swing speed, I'm going to go to the gym and start strengthening." If you have dysfunction, you're strengthening dysfunction. And what does dysfunction cause? Pain, because you're compensating. Get rid of the compensations, improve the mobility, improve how the body moves, balance it, and then you can increase your strength. Go ahead and lift. But you cannot strengthen dysfunction. And most people have dysfunction, so they're strengthening the dysfunctions, which make it harder on the body.
Is it important to do strength training as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You mix that into what you're doing. So like I always say, the exercises I teach you guys, you mix those into what you're doing. So you might do a wall windmill, a runner stretch, a spread feet wide and rotate, and then start your workout. Okay? Because you just put yourself in a better position. And then when you finish your routine, you're going to close it out with laying on the blocks, doing some knee pillow squeezes, sit against the wall, and then leave the gym. So you did exactly the same workout, but I started to brush your teeth in different spots. So I'm not telling you to do my program only, but you do have to add my stuff in. You need that 10% that you're missing. Everyone's missing it, and they're missing it in a big way. And like I said, I'm very fortunate. I'm 53 years old. I don't even know if you know this. I've had 2 hip surgeries last year. Okay? I can do anything I want, jump, squat, lunge, everything.
Wow.
Perfect balance, great rotation. I can do anything. And I had 2 hip replacements last year. The reason I had hip replacements is because we didn't know about mobility 30 years ago. We used to back squat 450, deadlift 500, do all these exercises, Well, we never mobilized. We didn't do any soft tissue. We didn't do yoga. We didn't do any of that stuff. If you hurt, we just said, go do it again. Don't be a pussy.
Mm.
Do it again. So my joints were bone on bone, right? But now we know what we know to help you not be bone on bone and how to open the joint up. If we would have been doing all the stuff I'm teaching now, oh my God, I can't imagine. My weights would have gone up. My functionality would have been better. I would have had less pain in my knees and hips and back because we're compensating. I had so many compensations. So, like I said, now I feel fantastic. For 50, I'm going to be 54 this year. I can't wait till I'm 60. There's not a lot of guys going to move like me at 60, unless you're doing what I'm teaching. And it's like someday, I don't know when it's going to be, more people are going to listen because they're going to say, oh, you just have good genetics. That'll be the next thing. Oh, he has good genetics. He's different than me. No, I'm human. And human is all human. Babies, have you ever seen a dysfunctional baby? Every baby in the world can do this. They just sit there and play, right?
Right.
They have no problem in this position, right? So it's not a genetic thing. It's a using thing. Most Americans don't go past the toilet seat. In Asia, they squat to go to the bathroom. So they don't have any knee, ankle, or hip problems or back problems because they squat all the way down. One of the tricks I can help you guys with just to get better is just to squat like this every day and get those joints to start moving full range of motion. Squat all the way down. Can you stand here for 10 minutes? Just stay here, right? Most people can't. They don't have that range of motion, right? And then put your arms up. They can't. There's no way. They'll fall over. They can't get their arms up like this. So if you don't have that range of motion, right, that's what compensations are. We were born to move like that. We started like that as babies. And over time, we move less. We use things around us. We have cars. We have seats at 90 degrees, our chairs. We don't sit on the ground enough. Another great one for you guys out there, again, not talking about equipment, is just sit there and cross your legs like this. Sit on the ground. Start doing this more often. This will help your hips. Just by sitting forward, change your feet, different angle. Sit forward. Get good at just sitting here. This will open up your back and hips, especially if you're a golfer, pickleball, tennis. Just sitting on the floor watching TV for half an hour is going to help your hips get looser. Okay? Instead of sitting in a chair at 90 degrees where everything's tight, shorten, tight, and shorten. Make sense?
Now, do you have a different set of mobility exercises for a person given their particular ailment or issue, or you just kind of have blanket ones that everybody should be doing?
If they have real pain where they're struggling with something, then it matters, yes. But if you're an average person that's fit, kind of moving around, saying, I go to the gym, I run, I do things, then it's standard. But if they have pain, like, oh, I have serious back pain, then I need to know so I can give you specifics.
And can you tell by just looking at them what they need and how they walk? And could you tell just by?
I can when I see them walk because I can
Really?
see the foot contact, the knee internal rotation. Is it valgus? What's going on in the hip region? How short is their stride? How long is their stride? Do their arms swing? Does their head tilt to the left? I see it all. It's like it's like watching a train wreck when I walk down the street because you don't look away. You just see it, and you're like, oh my God, that guy's right hip's terrible. Oh, that guy's left ankle's bad.
Wow. How about a golf swing? Can you tell where mobility lacks when you see a golf swing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but there's different reasons. Like I just told you, your better golfers, right, that shoot better scores can compensate. I can see some of the compensations when they're throwing their hips forward, why they're throwing their hips forward, because they're trying to get their arm in the right place, right? So if they have the range of motion, they don't have to throw the hips. They can keep it there, right, and then hold it on. That's why it starts to help you crack the whip more because you're not compensating. It's
Hmm.
like me shortening your arm right here and say, throw the baseball. And you're like, oh, that's as hard as I can throw. But what happens when I give you that range of motion? All of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm throwing it harder. That's the same thing with the golf swing. So if I get your golf swing where you can actually keep your foot down and turn all the way around like this, you have all that leverage instead of lifting the foot up to get there and then slamming it down,
Hmm.
which most people do,
Hmm.
because that's difficult to time. So if I can take the timing mechanism away and just keep the foot down, now it's not a timing issue, right? Because you got to time that to get that speed. But some guys are great at doing that. They can time it and they can do it over and over. But doesn't mean they're not compensating and having an issue with their back or, whatever part of their body that's kind of bugging them because they're repeating something that they shouldn't be repeating.
Mm. So, Bobby, I started my tech business back in the '90s, and I wasn't paying attention to myself, and I was working too much, wasn't eating properly, wasn't doing any mobility, wasn't stretching, and I got myself up to 340 pounds. The doctor
Oh,
said to me,
God.
if I don't, yeah, 46-inch waist, yeah, yeah, and
Jesus.
it's
How
just
tall are
eating
you?
pizza. 6.
Jesus, that's a
Yeah.
big man. You're an NFL lineman.
Too big, yeah. I'm now 205, 32-inch waist, I was 46, so I was 46-inch waist, 340, and, the doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not gonna see my daughter graduate. He scared the hell out of me, right? You can imagine. So I spent the next 6, 7 months, I lost about 130 pounds. People ask me how, like there's some secret, and I just say discipline. That's
Yeah,
how people, there's no secret. Come on, you want to lose it, you know how to lose it. You got to eat less, you got to exercise, and you can't look at it like a finishing line, right? People,
right.
90% of the people gain the weight back. You've got to keep it off. I wonder how discipline plays a role in your life, Bobby Aldridge.
100%. It depends on what you want. It just what it comes down to and what's important. And so if you really enjoy golf, if you really enjoy sport, if you really enjoy feeling good and pain free, then you'll find time, like I said, because I call it a lifestyle. It's not do the
Mm.
exercises for an hour, fit it into your lifestyle. So, like before I came on with you guys, I was doing windmills. I did my runner stretch. I did the ball right here and laid over the top of it like this, just laid over the top and stretched and just laid on the ball. That's another thing you could do at work is sit on the ball because in between a phone call, what do? Lay down like this, stretch it out, get back up, get back on the call. So I did
Mm.
my things before I got on with you. When I finish, I have to go and drive to another client. So I'm going to lay on the blocks probably for about 5, 6 minutes, put myself in a good position, wall squat for a minute, and then leave. When I get there, I'll get out of the car. I'll put my hands on top of the car and I'll push my butt back and just stretch out my neck and shoulders.
Wow.
So I'm mixing it in throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I don't work out. I did my stuff throughout the day. And that's what I call lifestyle. That's what I teach for
Mm.
corporate wellness. I teach you how to mix it in. So at the end of the day, you're done. Now go do what you like to do after work. Don't go do an hour at the gym or whatever you want to do. The other thing is with my tools, you do it at home. So at night, I do a lot of stuff while I'm watching TV. Whenever I watch TV, I'm on the floor. I have carpet. I lay on the floor. I do stuff. And if I did whatever I did today, I don't do tomorrow. I do something different. Okay. So it's always something new every 1, 2, or 3 days. Right. But in those 3 days, I get the stuff in. Why? I learned my lesson. I had back pain for a long time because I had a car accident and I had to deal with back pain. Broke my back in a car accident. So that was back in
Mm.
college. So didn't have pain anymore, and we went to Fiji for 30 days. While I'm there, they don't have carpet. I didn't get out on the floor. I didn't do any of my stretches down there. I just
Mm.
maybe did some windmills, but I didn't do any of the stuff I normally do. 3 days into it, I had been rowing our family across to the other side, 2.5 miles over, 2.5 miles back, 5 miles a day of rowing. Okay. On the third day, I woke up. I couldn't move. My back seized up right there at that PSIS joint I told you about.
Wow.
And I was like, what the heck? Oh my God, my pain came back. That same pain I had came back. And it was because I wasn't doing anything to keep myself balanced
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
mobile. And that taught me oh my God, it does come back. I didn't know that until that day. Oh, I got to
Right.
stay on this. Oh, wow, I got to do my adductor stretch. I got to do my, simple stuff that I do, but you got to do it daily. It's not like it's do it for 6 weeks and then jump off of it for the next 3. Your back pain will come back. That's what the consistency of brushing your teeth is what I'm talking about. Change your lifestyle so it fits the routine of the stuff I'm teaching you. First thing in the morning, do a wall windmill, then go off to work. At work at your desk, do the runner stretch. After work, do a spread feet wide and rotate, lay on the blocks, go home. The
Hmm.
next day, pick a few different ones, but mix it into your work schedule so it becomes lifestyle. And why is it good? Not just for your body, but it clears your mind, because if you close your mouth and breathe through your nose while you're doing this, you're getting double the effort right there. You're
Hmm.
improving how you feel at work, your energy level. You don't need to go get that Red Bull or coffee. Just breathe through your nose and you're going to go like, well, I feel that much better. I'm feeling better. Um, and you guys will feel this right away. Do it today. Like I said, just close your mouth, breathe through your nose 12 times right there. Big breath in, out through the nose. Big breath in, out through the nose, and your energy level is going to go up. Promise you.
So you kind of you liken discipline, or a synonym would be, routine and habit and structure.
100%. Yes. And don't be too structured where you feel like you miss out. You don't want to miss out.
Mm.
You want to be able to do a little bit at a time every day. I'm happy if you do one a day for 7
Mm.
straight days. That's a win. So one a day for 7 straight days is more than you were doing before.
Right.
That's for people that don't do anything. Now,
Mm.
if you go to the gym, mix in 1 or 2 at the gym. At the gym, start with a windmill, end with the blocks. That's a win. We're
Mm.
improving your lifestyle. And if you guys want to send me an email and talk about and ask questions and kind of understand routine and that sort of thing, send me Bobby at BAM motion.com, and I'll answer your questions and give you a routine and make it simple for you.
Mm.
This stuff is not hard. It's just consistency. And it's like I said, it's like, would you skip your job for 3 days? You make no money.
Mm.
Put $5 in your bank account every day and do that for 15 years, then it becomes a lot of money. But $5 a day, it doesn't seem like much, right? It's $150 at the end of the month. Not a lot of money. But you start adding it up 15 years later, for all you people that are over 30, 40, it's just the next 20 years, do it right. So by the time you're my age, you feel great. And then when you retire at 65 or 70, you still can move and go play golf and do the things that you like to
Mm.
do pain free with very little effort. Very little effort. It's just that, like you just said, build better habits, get more consistent, and find a way to mix it into your lifestyle. Not my lifestyle, not your lifestyle, but their lifestyle.
Mm. What motivates you, Bobby?
Um, I like to get better every day. So I research things, I watch, never feel I'm good enough, could be better, always can increase what you're doing. And that's kind of been embedded in me that way. I don't know why. That's kind of my
Mm.
DNA. So I'm always trying to learn. And if you keep that kind of attitude too, it keeps you hungry, for
Right.
everything. So you don't get stagnant, like when you think you know it all and you think you're past that age of doing that, or that kind of slows everything down. You lose the motivation, you lose that drive, I guess it is. But I think the learning mentality is what keeps people going. Just the learning and curiosity. I would say curiosity. If you don't have curiosity, you don't have the will to want to get better and listen and learn. Listen to people more rather than talk. Listen.
Mm.
Be curious about what they're telling you. You can learn something from everyone, just a matter of what. I learn more from my athletes that leave me and go see another trainer or go to a big time school and come back. And they're like, "Hey, Bob, we were doing this exercise." And I'm like, "Wow, that's a good one. I've never even seen that.
Mm. Mm.
That's a good, I got to add that to my repertoire."
Mm.
So if you keep your ego low, you keep the learning mentality, stay curious, Those are all good things to keep you kind of a positive person. And being a good listener, I think, is key to just communication of people in general. Really hearing what their why. If you can find your why, that's the key to keeping your habits going. If you don't know why you're doing something, the why, like people go to work, their why is they need money, right? For most. So they're going to work every day. That's their why. But if you can find another why inside that work of why you're there, I don't consider what I do work. It's more like I enjoy the podcast. I enjoy going to see my athlete. I enjoy going to help my client who's 75 years old, who's trying to walk better, because I find it challenging to teach it.
Mm.
And so that's what keeps you going. Otherwise, it is work. It's boring. How many times have I taught a wall windmill? 1,000 times, right? But if I can see how I can help that person move it better by trying this exercise and then try the wall windmill, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, that's easier to keep my arms up. That's what's entertaining to me. How can I make it? How can I make it happen? And for me, it's more fun at the highest level because they're doing so much to be good that I can tweak it that 2, 3, 5%, and they're that much better. They do that much more. So that's where I find it fun. I just got off the phone a few days ago with the one of the GMs of the Texas Rangers, and hopefully I'm going to be working with those guys this year, helping them. And they just won the World Series because they're trying to get better. They're trying to improve. And one of the kids that's the GM I've known for years. So hopefully we're going to get in there and get them going with the stuff that I'm teaching, the mat, blocks, bands, and that sort of stuff. Very exciting.
Yeah, but I like what you said when you stay hungry and you want to get better and you're curious. It forces you to be more humble, which I think perhaps many people lack these days. How do you measure success, Bobby?
I think everybody has their individual success, for sure. I just measure, am I getting better every day? Am I doing the best I can? There's so many things you can gauge. But for each person, this is what I was saying. If you do nothing, all of a sudden you're doing one a day, that's a win. That's like, hey, I'm doing great. Hey, I'm doing it 3 times a week. I'm doing it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you used to never do anything. That's a win. Again, it's just a matter of start the process. Life's a long journey, right? And they always say this all the time. When you're running along and you want to get to the finish line, what happens when you get to the finish line? What's after the finish line? So you don't worry about the finish line. You just keep journeying. You just keep going. You keep pushing forward to the next event and the next event and the next event. It's a journey. You have to enjoy the journey. Why are you doing this? And like I said, find your why and you'll be able to do it daily. If you don't have that why, you don't want to do the wall windmill. You don't want to do the runner stretch. Make sense? There's no reason to do it. So for me, success is just, am I competing every day? Am I doing the best I can? And I have days I don't feel like doing it at all. Right? I told you I did 9 clients the other day in a row. The last thing I want to do is more windmills for myself and runner stretch and pretzel and it's like, they say, well, you're a trainer. It's like easy for you. No, I've already done it 9 times. Why do I want to do it 10 times today? It's harder for me. And the busier you are, the harder it is to get in. So that's why I'm telling you guys, you fit it into your lifestyle. If I have 10 clients in a day and I start at 7 in the morning, when am I done? 7 at night. I got a little break in between there, right? But I'm done at 10 at night. Do I want to now go, or 7 at night, do I now want to go to the gym for an hour? No freaking way. Last thing I want to do. And do I want to get up earlier to go to the gym in the morning? No. So what do? I mix it into my lifestyle. In between clients, I do 1 exercise. So if I had 10 clients, I did 10 exercises today. And I did different ones today than I did yesterday. So I got 20 different exercises in 2 days that are different, that help my body. So I kept it going throughout the day, but I did not do an hour workout. I don't have time set aside for my workouts. I do them when I can. And if I have half an hour, client canceled, I have an hour, then I might jump on and say, I'm going to do some deadlifts. I'm going to do something, right? Oh, I got an hour to myself. Great, I'm going to do this. Or I might just
Hmm.
rest. I might go upstairs and talk to my wife and just hang out and relax for an hour. You know what I mean? So you have to find that what motivates you and the why, and then build good habits around that. And then don't get defeated if you missed a day. Just go the next day. Move on. It's like golf. If you hit a bad shot, move on. Okay? Forget about it. It always makes me think about the New Yorkers. Forget about it.
Yeah, well, in golf, you got to have a short memory. If you get a birdie or if you get a double bogey, you got to move on to the next shot. It's just you got to forget about it, and like you said, and uh,
one of
move
my
to the
fa-
next.
one of my favorite stories is Jack Nicklaus. He's getting interviewed. There's 50 people there, and he's like, "I've never missed a putt on the 18th hole
Yeah,
to
that's a
win to
famous
win a
line of his.
championship. Never
Yeah,
missed a putt on the 18th hole." And the guy raises his hand and goes, "Hey,
of
I
course he
was
did.
there
Yeah.
in '73, and you missed that putt." Jack's all, "I've never missed a putt on the 18th hole inside 10 feet ever." And the guy goes, "But Jack, I was there." And then the interviewer goes, "Are you getting what Jack's saying here? He's never missed a putt on the 18th hole. Don't dwell on it. Be positive. Remember the good shots. Forget the bad." That's what you go to. And that's why these guys are the best players in the world, is because they stay positive, glass half full, instead of half empty. It's all the same sort of stuff. Mental wins every time, not
Mm,
physical, mental.
mm.
And the guys that have it, they keep winning. That's why the same guys are at the top. Jordan Spieth had it for a while, but now he doubts himself. So he's struggling up and down, up and down, up and down. He was one of the best putters on the planet, right? Now he's tried 50 different ways of putting. So it's funny how some of the best in the world can lose it so fast because they doubt themselves. Don't doubt yourself every day. Do a little bit, keep improving. Do a little bit, keep improving. And I promise you, in the end, you're better than you ever were because you don't think about the negative. You just keep moving along. The journeyman.
Yeah, that mental edge is what separates the elite from everyone else. Bobby Aldridge, absolute pleasure. I love what you're doing out there. I love mobility, stressing it. Anybody listening, how can they get in touch with you if they'd like to?
Bobby at BAM Motion, BAMMOTION.com. Bobby, BOBBY, at BAMMotion.com. Or you can go to my website and you can see www.bam-metrics.com. And like I said, just reach out to me. And um, for your listeners today, anybody that orders off this, I promise you guys can call me and I'll do a 15-minute session with you on a live Zoom call. Answer your questions, and you say, "Hey, I got severe back pain." I'll give you a few things to do and get started to help you out. And like I said, I've been doing this a long time, so a lot of times I can take you right to the source and start to fix that instantly. I
Hmm.
call myself kind of the one hit wonder. I give people exercise and then I don't hear from them again. And I'm like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in like 6 months." He's, "Oh yeah, those 2 exercises really helped my back." I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh, okay, great." But like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I've had everything broken in my body, from my back to my ankles to my knees, elbow, rotator cuff. I've been through it all. So I know what it feels like to have aches and pains and injuries from sports and things. And I'm always learning. I find new stuff. People bring me great ideas, and we just keep building it. But we have a good, solid foundation to help people. And so hopefully you guys will give it a shot. Reach out to me, and we can help more people. Share it with your friends.
Fantastic, Bobby. Thank you so much for your time. If I'm ever in the Northern California area, we'll look up. We'll have I don't know, some tea or something. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'm going to be down in Tampa during Christmas. I'm coming down that
Very
way.
cool.
Yeah.
Ah, good. We'll
So,
exchange information. Sounds good.
yeah, sounds good. All right, man.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Bobby. You
having me
be
on.
well. Be
See
well.
you
Bye
later.
now. Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Would you like to financially support the podcast? You can go to our Patreon site. Consider $5, $10, or $20 a month. There's all kind of plans that we have there. There's like a one-time payment. What is this podcast episode worth to you? $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000. You be the judge. You can go to our PayPal account to do that as well. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Disciple Conversations.